Do I have anything in my teeth? Hope not. Hey guys, what's going on? Dr. B Shuck coming to you live from an undisclosed location out here in the middle of apparently the country. And I want to talk a little bit about leadership today. I did a Google search earlier today. 1.9 billion with a B. Search hits pop up. Just with the word leadership alone, 1.9 billion. How are you going to read all of that? I don't know about you guys, but my family loves to go to the beach. We try to go to the beach every summer. It's super fun. We love to collect shells. We love to walk up and down the beach. And oh my God, we have so many shells at my house. We have shells from years and years ago that I don't even know where the shells came from, to be honest with you. Sometimes when we're at the beach, I like to sit in a chair and let the waves crash in over my feet. And I'll put my hand down in the sand and I'll pick up a big pile of sand and I'll look at it and say, man, I wonder how many grains of sand are in this pile. If I look across the entire beach, I wonder how many grains of sand are on this entire beach right here. It would be impossible to count, right? Sometimes I feel like that's the state of leadership. Like there is so much information, so much knowledge. Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody has an opinion about it. Everybody's saying something about it. They got this philosophy and that philosophy. There's adaptive leadership and servant leadership and transformational leadership and authentic leadership and transactional leadership and LMX leadership. And there's compassionate leadership. There's the great man theory of leadership. There's personality trait theories of leadership. There are value traits of leadership. It just goes on and on and on. How can you even master all that stuff? Like, what does it even mean? How do we even begin to make sense of it, right? How can we make sense of the idea of leadership right now? And what can we do about it to make the world a better place? I used to run an exercise where we would list out all the qualities of what does it mean to be a really great leader? What are the qualities that a really great leader has? And we would begin to write those things on a board, and we would say things like, well, she's got to have great personality, or she's got to be self-aware, she's got to be disciplined, or she's got to be compassionate, she's got to be transformational, she's got to be transactional, she's got to be blah, blah, blah. And we would make this comprehensive list, and we would just be overwhelmed. And in fact, we would become so overwhelmed that actually paralyzed like leadership development, because I had to do all of these things. I got to do all of these things for real. How does that even work, right? Look, when it comes to leadership, there are a lot of myths, and I want to bust a couple of those. First of all, leaders are made; they're not born. We can develop ourselves. We can get better. We can do self-development. We can do leader development. We can do team development. We can do organizational development. We can get better. You can get better. I can get better. Second, leadership happens at all levels. It's accessible. You don't have to be in a position of leadership to be a leader. You don't have to have a title. It's not about titles. Leadership isn't about titles. It is about stepping into action. Number three, you don't have to have a charismatic personality. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You don't have to be the one person who's talking all the time. Some of the best leaders ever profiled have a compassionate demeanor and a quiet disposition. They aren't charismatic at all, but they get stuff done. Number four, there's not one way to do leadership. There isn't a one-size-fits-all box. It isn't like you're ordering something off Amazon and you just hope it fits, like a bathrobe. Leadership isn't a bathrobe. Leadership isn't a pair of Christmas pajamas that you put on that it's one size is going to fit you and somebody else. It doesn't work like that. And probably the last and most important thing right now is that leadership is teachable. We can learn it. We can put ourselves in context and situations so that we get better every time. So there are a few areas of leadership that I want to spend a little bit of time talking about today. The first is know yourself. You got to know, what are your triggers? What are your strengths? What are the things that you're exceptionally good at? What are the tools that are in your toolbox? You need to be aware, and that takes discipline. That takes learning through assessments, taking different tests and gathering that information, and not applying a one-size-fits-all model, because we know that doesn't operate like that, but rather applying that information to ourselves in some kind of context. The second is this idea of being, to be. What are your principles? What are your values? What are the things that in a given situation, in a sticky situation or an urgent situation, how are you going to react? And what are the principles that you live your life by, that you lead by? What are the values that you lead your life by? What are the philosophies that you have that guide who you are? And the third, perhaps the most important thing, is you got to act. But you got to take action. You got to be willing to step into the gap, to do something about it. Look, right now, leadership is urgent. We need leaders. We need you. We need people who will step in. We need people who will take action, to have a bias toward action. That's what leadership is. So don't get caught up in it. Don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in the list. Don't get caught up in the top 10 things you need to do today to be the best leader in the world. How do we stand up and stand in the gap so that at the end of the day, when we go to bed every night, that the world is just a little bit better because you were in it, because I was in it, and we were willing to take some action. So look, don't worry about living up to some list of expectations that's unattainable. Instead, focus on who you are, developing who you are uniquely, and finding ways to capitalize on your strengths. Now that's what leadership is. And then when we step into the moment, when we step into the gap, that's what a leader is. See you next time.